Hello there, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the Thames Valley. The sister of Reading head teacher Ruth Perry, who took her own life following an Ofsted inspection, says she'll never give up fighting for change as she prepares to meet the Education Secretary.
Ruth wasn't the first head teacher to take her own life because of an Ofsted inspection, but she must be the last.
Caring for her daughter for nearly 30 years, how Elsa is now using her experience to improve the lives of more than 50,000 other unpaid carers in Oxfordshire.
Also this Monday, when tensions on the road boil over, with road rage incidents on the rise, advice on staying calm in the driver's seat.
And uniting against breast cancer, why Hayley from Bicester joined thousands of others and walked through the night. Good evening. The sister of a Reading head teacher who took her own life after her school was downgraded by Ofsted says she will never give up fighting to make sure other families don't go through what they have.
Well, 53-year-old Ruth Perry, who worked at Caversham Primary School, died in January. Her sister, Julia Waters, has been speaking to us ahead of a meeting with the Education Secretary tomorrow as she campaigns for a change to the inspection system.
Well, there are calls for the Health and Safety Executive to investigate every work-related suicide in the wake of Ruth's death. Mel Blaw reports.
Ruth wasn't the first head teacher to take her own life because of an Ofsted inspection, but she must be the last.
4.5 months on from her sister's death, Julia Waters has repeated her call for urgent change. Ruth Perry's death in January prompted a national debate about the fairness of Ofsted inspections and demands for a comprehensive review. Her family believe the stress of waiting for a report that downgraded her school from outstanding to inadequate led her to take her own life.
Ofsted and the Department for Education's refusal to countenance that they might have played any part in all of those deaths is just insulting, it's deeply hurtful, and it's irresponsible. They have a duty of care, they must have a duty of care to those people who give their time, their commitment, their love, their care to looking after the nation's children. You can't do that if you yourself are terrorised, traumatised, worn down.
On Saturday, more than 400 people gathered for a private memorial service for Ruth, where she was described by her sister as a gifted and dedicated head teacher. Family and friends were joined by Ruth's former colleagues and pupils, as well as her local MP.
I'm trying to work with Julia and to try to change the way that Ofsted operates. We want to see it reformed and move away from the one-word judgments which are really quite unfair on head teachers and on schools, towards something that's much more balanced, and also for Ofsted to be more supportive, to change the culture so that it doesn't feel like there's this huge pressure on heads and on schools when there's an Ofsted inspection.
Today, 2 academics have called for the Health and Safety Executive to investigate every work-related suicide following Ruth's death, and for Ofsted to publicly accept that it has a duty of care to teachers. The regulator's chief inspector has said she stands by the inspection at Caversham Primary and has resisted calls to pause inspections, while the Education Secretary says she fully supports one-word assessments. Ruth's sister, who recently addressed a conference held by the National Association of Head Teachers, is meeting with Gillian Keegan tomorrow to urge her to change her mind.
Well, I have asked already for a meeting that isn't just warm words and condolences. I don't need any more of those. They're meaningless unless there's actions to accompany it. But until there is meaningful change, until I am assured that what happened to Ruth can't happen to anybody else, what we've gone through, the pain we've gone through as a family, will not be experienced by other families for the same reason. Until that happens, I'm not giving up.
Mel Blaw, ITV News, Reading.
In other news, passengers in Buckinghamshire are being advised to plan ahead due to railway work later this year. The railway in Aylesbury will be closed between Monday the 7th and Friday the 18th of August to fix a faulty Victorian drainage culvert. Rail replacement buses will be in operation.
The number of people being referred to the NHS Diabetes Prevention Programme in Hampshire is at its highest level for 4 years. In the last 6 months, almost 6,000 patients agreed to be referred by GPs to the programme. But according to research, someone completing it reduces their chances of developing type 2 diabetes by more than a third.
A bus which carried passengers in Wiltshire and has been converted into a field hospital has been handed over to a group of volunteers who'll take it to Ukraine. The Swindon Humanitarian Aid Partnership has replaced the seats with hospital beds, fitting the vehicle with water and power. The Ukrainian ambassador was at Westminster to see it for himself. The bus will go to the war-torn country later this month.
An enormously proud day for our little organisation and for the town of Swindon. This last autumn was a dream, and a far-off dream. We respond to need, so we don't do what we think the Ukrainians will want. We speak to them and we do what they tell us they need, and they need an awful lot.
We shall follow its progress. Now, recently we've been highlighting the work of unpaid carers and their struggles. Many of the carers we've spoken to have said they have daily worries about money and the future, along with sleep deprivation and no chance of a break.
A woman from Oxfordshire is using her experience to help people like her. Elsa's been caring for her daughter Elisa for 27 years. Now she's working with the County Council to improve their support in the future. Natalie Verney has been to meet her.
Elisa loves dancing.
I put some music on and she starts dancing in her own little way. She's magic. She's actually pure spirit. Because of her non-verbal nature, she can't actually learn in the way other people learn. So what she is her spirit. It's her uniqueness.
She was born with Angelman syndrome. It affects the nervous system and causes severe physical and learning disabilities. She needs 24-hour care, and whilst the house looks calm now, at times it can be stressful.
Last night I was woken up by her, and my husband was trying to deal with her incontinence at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was a mess, and that I do find extremely difficult.
It's lovely breakfast for you.
If you don't watch her carefully the whole time, if you don't supervise breakfast properly, then she can get it all over her face and on her hands, and then she has a tendency to rub her eyes. So if you haven't cleaned her face and kept her hands clean, she can get food into her eyes, and that could actually cause an infection. So it's a constant stress, really.
Would you like to go out for a walk, Elisa?
Elisa's parents do get some respite. She spends most of the week at a residential in Surrey, returning home for the weekends. It's paid for by Oxfordshire County Council. But there are more than 50,000 unpaid carers in the county, and not everyone receives the same amount of support. That's why Elsa wants to use her experience for good. She's helping the council improve their support in the future by developing a new unpaid carers strategy. Together, they've spoken to 1,600 carers in the county to hear real-life experiences.
Sometimes it is just, somebody to talk to. Sometimes it is a very short break. Sometimes it's, longer respite care in different guises. But I think one of the things that has really come through is about, information, understanding where they can be signposted to, and actually have that support. Elsa has been incredibly helpful, and as an individual, really driving us forward as a county council in terms of challenging us, and I think, ensuring that the voice of the carer is absolutely at the heart of everything that we do.
Their new plan will go out to consultation in the coming months. Natalie Verney, ITV News.
Now you're watching ITV News. Meridian in the Thames Valley. Still to come on the programme this evening. A dream come true for Ascot United, who make club history at Wembley. Sarah's going to be here with all the sports.
And what makes the local railway station special? The train stops in the south battling it out to be named Britain's best love.
Well, for more from us, of course, you can go to our website. All the details on the screen. itv.com/Meridian is the address. You can call us 0808 1010 095, and you can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter and on Instagram.
Time now to see what's on the way when the ITV Evening News continues with the national and international news at 6:30. With more, let's to London and Mary Nightingale.
Coming up in the programme, 16 years on, a new search begins for Madeleine McCann. Authorities are to investigate a fresh site in Portugal in connection with her disappearance. Here the PM consults his ethics advisor as the Home Secretary refutes claims she broke the ministerial code. Also, how to fight the latest wave of scams said to be bombarding consumers from every direction. And the Gurkha who's reached an historic peak. Well, do join me for those stories and much more at 6:30.
Now, road rage is on the rise. Figures show reported incidents have jumped by 2/3 in the last decade. And it's led many of those who work on our roads to wear body cameras due to a rise in abuse from drivers.
So what is the key to staying calm and collected in the driver's seat? Well, with more now, here's Nick Smith.
There is something about being behind the wheel which sometimes brings out the worst in people, and tensions on the road can boil over into physical confrontation. Incidents of road rage are on the rise once again, and people we spoke to in Bournemouth say it's something they see regularly.
I just hate it when people are so inconsiderate, and you try and drive safely and you get so many people tailgating you and that sort of thing.
But the jam on my brakes, I had my daughter in my car, luckily we had seatbelts on, but yeah, that was my experience and it was really horrible.
He got out of the car, there was no gap for him, and he got on and he was trying to smash my window and force my door open, and I was absolutely shaking.
The patrol teams at National Highways observe millions of drivers each and every day. But sadly, they are often the victims of road rage, like in this recent footage of a van clipping one of their vehicles by overtaking it on the central reservation. Officer Tony tells me it's sadly becoming a more common occurrence with impatient driver behaviour.
If they're held up, frustrations and tensions can rise, which can lead to tailgating and cutting in and out of traffic. We get people trying to break our rolling roadblocks. And again, we can understand the frustration. We've slowed them down and stopped them possibly, and they've got to be at meetings and they've got to be somewhere very important. But please bear with us, we are doing it for a reason.
Last year, National Highways staff added body cameras to their uniform.
If I go and sit back down, absolutely. I'm sorry for swearing as well, I do apologise.
After suffering more than 200 incidents of abuse from members of the public. Officer Shan tells me she was recently physically assaulted by a driver during a highway closure.
There was a car that came up the hard shoulder, and obviously I won't let him past, at which point he's got out of his vehicle and he was trying to intimidate me. He screamed in my face and was pushing me back. My colleague pressed the emergency button on our radio and requested police, and police came and they dealt with him.
Personalities can dramatically shift when they're in the driving seat. So what can motorists do to keep calm while at the wheel?
Think about when you're doing this. If you're going to go out and hit peak rush hour traffic and you'll be sitting in traffic, it's more likely to make you feel that sense of agitation and stress that could lead to honking the horn or feeling stressed and letting that build up. And also a bit of empathy for the other driver. We've all been there. We've all driven a bit slowly when we're lost and we're looking for an address. Thinking about what could it be for the other driver can help to diffuse that feeling of growing stress and anger.
And just that little bit of extra care and consideration can certainly contribute to a smoother journey. Nick Smith, ITV News.
Now, thousands of people walk for hours through the night at the weekend to raise money for a breast cancer charity.
Yes, the Moonwalk, as it's known, began 25 years ago and has raised millions of pounds that's helped fund research as well as support services and organisations.
Well, among the walkers with Hayley Knight from Bicester was our reporter, Kevin Ashford.
3, 2, 1,
Setting off to pound the pavements. For 2.5 decades, it's a scene that's been repeated many times as people have walked through the night to raise money for a breast cancer charity. Many of those taking part have direct experience of the disease. Hayley Knight from Bicester was supposed to do last year's Moonwalk. Before she set off for this year's event, Hayley explained why she was walking.
Last January I was diagnosed with breast cancer, no family history. They said 1 in 3 million chance that I got it, no issues with the genetics, just literally bad luck. So had 8 rounds of chemo, 20 rounds of radio, and got through it towards the end of the year. So last year a team did it, but I couldn't. So they raised £25,000 and I promised I'd do it this year, so that's why I'm here.
This is the 25th anniversary of Moonwalk, and over the years tens of thousands of people have walked through the night raising millions of pounds for charity, and everyone who takes part is encouraged to dress as colourfully as possible.
Participants can choose to walk either a full or half marathon distance around the streets of London before finishing the following morning. Crossing the finishing line can be an emotional time for many, including the woman who founded the event.
Every single person has got a story, and it's not always about cancer, it can be different things, but everybody's got a story. I always like to think that we're continually evolving with the science, the needs of breast cancer, what should we put our money into. But I think the heart of Walk the Walk and the heart of the Moonwalk is quite precious, and that will stay. So no matter what technology brings or changes we make, I think the heart will still stay the same.
It may be challenging for those taking part, but the results are impressive. Since Moonwalk began, more than £130 million has been raised. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
Such a brilliant event. My sister walked it one year. It's such a great charity, everything about it, great fun as well.
Brilliant.
And they all look good.
Well done to everybody who takes part. Now, what makes a good railway station? Cleanliness, accessibility, friendly staff all make a difference, and 3 stations here in the south are competing to be named the best in a national final. Swathling in Southampton has been shortlisted as volunteers run a free shop which distributes surplus food from supermarkets to those who need it.
Well, this is Bishopstone in East Sussex, where volunteers have brought this Art Deco station back to life, with the old parcel room becoming a much-loved community hub. Well, our reporter James Dunn is on the platform at Bognor Regis Station this evening. James, why is Bognor also in the running?
It's not, Amanda, because Bognor Regis is Grade 2 listed. That is, of course, very impressive. It's not even because the station is still standing, given that it was blown away in gale force winds back in 1897. It's actually because of this space here. It's called the Track, a former waiting room. And if you follow me inside, I'll show you what it's all about. This is what's known as a co-working space. So people from all sorts of businesses can rock up, find a desk, plug their laptop in, and then beaver away from 9 till 5. There's even a very nice kitchen facility there too. And earlier we've caught up with some of the people who are making this their office.
It's given us a lot more opportunities to be able to run physical classrooms as opposed to just restricting our services to online. So with the train station just literally next door, it's a great place for people to come to.
It creates a separation for me from home and work, so I'm able to get up in the morning, come here, do a day's work, go home and just enjoy being at home.
It's working from home, my attention span is non-existent. So coming here keeps me focused and it's nice. Get to see everyone, interacting with people.
It is home time, hence why it's a little bit more empty here. But thankfully, Jamie, the station manager, joins me now. So, Jamie, how does it feel to be shortlisted in this competition?
I think it's fantastic. We're all about the communities and ensuring everything goes well. So, yeah, it's really good.
And were you surprised when you got the email saying Bognor has made it through?
No, not necessarily, because I feel that it's such a great space and Bognor Regis is a fantastic station.
What else, apart from this space, makes this station so fantastic?
Well, first things first, Bognor Regis is one of the sunniest places in the UK to be, and generally the station as a whole is fantastic for communities.
Fantastic stuff. And if you win, how are you going to celebrate?
We'll wait and see, but possibly a few corks will be popped.
You can feel the confidence, can't you, Jamie? Thank you very much. We will find out, Amanda and Matt, hold on to your horses on Saturday when the World Cup station winner is announced.
We'll look forward to that, James. Thank you very much.
I love the confidence there. Are you surprised? No. We're great.
It's
brilliant.
Bognor. Why not? Beautiful place,
exactly.
Beautiful station, and always sunny as well. And also brings some sunshine. Pip joins us now because it's weather time, and Pip, finally,
It looks like it could be a little bit warmer, maybe.
Yeah,
hopefully.
absolutely. The last week or so has been fairly consistently warm in the sunshine, hasn't it? But the night's still a little on the chilly side, and these big kind of swings in temperature, very classic of spring. And we talk in weather circles about the diurnal range. So what is it? Well, it's the difference between the highest and lowest temperature in any 24-hour period. We're currently sitting with a diurnal range of around 16 Celsius, so highs around 20 and lows in the low single figures. It's not unusual though. Unusual would be a range of 25 Celsius or above. Exceptional would be 27 Celsius or above, but the record for England, we're a long way off of that. That was set back in August 1936. Rickmansworth started at a chilly 1-point run, rose to 29.9, diurnal range 28.8.
So just very quickly, warmer days, more of them to come?
Yeah, that's right. The next week or so looks pretty warm. So if anything, a little bit warmer than this week, but still some chilly nights. So for gardeners, just something to be aware of.
You're not happy about
Your
that, are
tomatoes.
you?
Already planted out some annuals.
dear.
I may have gone too soon.
You might have to get a greenhouse very quickly.
know,
Well, let's get the forecast
good.
now. Here's Pip.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
So it's been a very promising start to the week, and it looks as though we've got more of the same over the next few days. A good deal of dry weather, some lovely sunny spells, and in the best of the sunshine, actually feeling pretty warm. And it's all thanks to high pressure sat out towards the west of the UK at the moment. It will edge ever so slowly eastwards over the next few days, maintaining its influence over us. And you can see by the orange and yellow hues, it will continue to bring a feed of fairly warm air our way. Out there at the moment though, we're looking at a very fine end to the evening. Through tonight we'll see a little more cloud drifting down from the north, but still some fairly lengthy clear spells. And I think under the clearest spells, well, towns and cities dipping down into single figures, 8 or 9 degrees. Rural spots perhaps a few degrees lower than that by dawn. So tomorrow morning, a fresh start, a bright start, much like this morning, a bit of cloud first thing, but that will gradually thin and break. Some lovely sunny spells coming through. And then as the temperatures rise, we'll see a bit more cloud bubbling up into the afternoon. The very outside chance of 1 or 2 light showers, but really not amounting to much, and another warm one too. High tides tomorrow, just the one there for Poole, 12:45 in the afternoon, and confirmation of the settled weather continuing through the next few days. Dry, sunny, warm by day, on the chilly side by night.
Valent sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Well, while trees have been the main source of pollen over the last couple of months, we are now edging into grass pollen season. Small amounts airborne at the moment, and thankfully for the time being at least, levels will be low.
1+, I suppose. Won't be sneezing so much.
Should be fine.
Maybe. Should be. Well, in just a moment, the ITV Evening News with Mary Nightingale.
That is it from us for this evening, though. I've got your late update just after 10:30. But for now, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.